Hi everyone, it's Phil here again from Ashland Leather, and I've got a table full of brand new private stock items that we're going to go over in the video today. But I thought this would be a really great opportunity to compare and contrast 4 different marbled shell Cordovan colors. So here first is a Johnny the Fox in marbled black shell Cordovan. This is one of the private stock items. And you can see on the marbled black shell Cordovan, we get a really interesting color range from a darker, more forest green shade, and it ranges down to a little bit more of an orangey tan look and all the colors in between. And on the inside of this marbled black shell Cordovan Johnny the Fox, we have a color 8 shell Cordovan interior. And let me show you another beautiful piece of marbled black shell Cordovan. This is a shop worn Tony the Ant that will also be in the private stock sale today. Check this out. Really dramatic contrast, and this is what I like to see in the marbled shells, where it goes immediately from the orange to the green. On the marbled black shell Cordovan, again, that's the color range we tend to see on the inside of this private stock wallet. And again, this is shop worn, so somebody has mildly worn this, so we'll be putting up for a discount. You can see some more marbled black shell on the interior, but this has some black shell Cordovan card holders. There's marbled black shell here on top of some black shell, and on the other side, it's sort of the opposite, where we have black shell on top of some marbled black shell Cordovan. And let's take a look at another marbled shell here. So this is marbled color number 8 shell Cordovan. So you can see that same sort of orangey tan that we saw in the marbled black shell Cordovan, and we'll get that on the right here. See that orangey tan? So instead of it fading from orange to green like on the marbled black, we see it fade from orange to sort of a burgundy. It's a little bit more red, and that's what the color 8 marbled range is. And this is a really beautiful Capone money clip, again in that marbled color 8 shell Cordovan. Let me give you a look at the inside. So this interior, this is one of the reasons I wanted to show this video today. This is also marbled color 8 shell Cordovan, but it is very, very light. It's like all the burgundy has been scraped away. So all you can really see are small little dots that were burgundy. And you can see a little bit more of it on the bottom here, but it does range to a little bit more like a natural color. And here's another one of the more rare marbled shell colors. This is marbled cigar shell Cordovan. Check this out. It's a little bit less red when compared to the marbled color 8, and a little bit more orange and golden as opposed to the redness of the marbled color 8. So take a look at the spine here. You can see more of the color 8, obviously, in the color 8 marbled, more burgundy, or on the marbled cigar, it's just like a little bit more orange and brown as opposed to burgundy and brown. Let me give you a look at this private stock Johnny the Fox here, because we have another rare interior. This is reverse cigar shell Cordovan on the interior, and it's a little bit different than the reverse color 8 shells that we've seen. So instead of seeing those burgundy dye marks, we get to see a little bit more of this true brown shade, which is very indicative of what the cigar shell Cordovan color is. And the fourth marbled shell color to show you, this one is quite rare. This is actually marbled blue shell Cordovan, and to me it kind of encroaches a little bit too closely on what the marbled black is, but it is a little bit different, so I thought I would show it to you. So the marbled blue, again, kind of looks like the marbled black, and we'll compare that again. So here's marbled black on the right, and then the marbled blue on the left. You can see there's just a little bit less drama to the color range, where the marbled black obviously ranges from a black down to the orangey tan, and the marbled blue stuff is a little bit more green, which is kind of interesting. You do see a little bit more blue tones in it. So on this private stock Johnny the Fox, we have a black reverse interior. We were talking about reverse interiors a minute ago, so here's what the cigar reverse looks like. And the black reverse is not black at all. It's very much a green shade, and it does range in color quite a bit. The reason I like the reverse shell Cordovan is it makes a really unique piece. So no two reverse shells are alike, and when we cut them into wallets, it makes them really random and unique. I like all the dye marks, all the range of color, and I really like how the reverse shell Cordovan wears in. Another leather that I'm really excited to talk about is the Tumbled shell Cordovan that Horween has started producing in the last 2 years. The Tumbled shell Cordovan is just a little bit of a different look on the standard shell Cordovans, where obviously they tumble the leather, and it gives you this interesting sort of pebbly look. The other interesting thing I've noticed about the tumbled shells is it tends to make the color a little bit more pale, and I think what's happening is the fibers of the shell are starting to open up, and it becomes a little bit more of like a suede. So if you look closely here, you might even be able to see a little bit of this sort of sueded texture, and it definitely has a sueded feel, which is really unique to the tumbled shells. I don't think you're going to find this look and feel on anything else. And the other thing I love about the tumbled shells is when they're tumbled in the mill, the peaks and valleys are really highlighted and sort of shadowed. So it's almost like the tops of the peaks here have been burnished against the edge of the tumbling mill. So it gets a little bit of a darker look where the valleys retain that original color, which is just a little bit lighter. So on this private stock Fat Herbie here, tumbled natural shell, which is beautiful. I really like the look of this one. And this is going to develop an incredible patina. It will get brighter and more shiny. It almost starts to get a little bit of a wet look just with normal use. And here's a look at the interior where we have some more tumbled natural shell Cordovan. I do have some more tumbled shell items to look at, but I wanted to compare it with a normal shell Cordovan piece here. And I say normal, but this is a really special piece. So this is a really dramatic piece of figuring on a piece of natural shell Cordovan. And this is something that I call quilted. I think we one time called this the Tiger King wallet. And these are random. This is not something that the tannery can intentionally produce, but I love it. I love all this natural random variation. It kind of reminds me of the look of the tumbled natural, like you see here, but it doesn't have that actual texture. It's very flat and smooth, especially when you compare it to the tumbled natural. So this is a special private stock Johnny the Fox here. Natural shell with the epic draw and sort of an epic texture look on the outside. Maybe you want to call it Tiger King. And the inside of this one, we have color 8 reverse shell Cordovan. And I do have another tumbled natural shell Cordovan Johnny the Fox. And this is a private stock item that I sort of snuck up on the website yesterday. I think somebody already has picked this one up. So tumbled natural shell here, really beautiful, light brown shade. And it sort of ranges from a light brown natural shell Cordovan color in the valleys of the texture to a little bit more of a brown color on those peaks, and just an amazing texture on here that almost changes depending on what angle you look at it. It's like the texture sort of shifts before your eyes, which I find to be really special. And again, on the inside of this one is a really beautiful piece of reverse color 8 shell Cordovan. And here's another tumbled shell Cordovan color, but this is tumbled cigar shell Cordovan. So it's a little bit darker, more of a true brown. And we do see that sort of same color range that we saw in the tumbled natural, but it's browner. So you get a little bit browner valleys and a little bit darker peaks. The peaks are about the same color as the tumbled natural, but just a little bit more brown in the undertones in those valleys. But let's look at this really special private stock passport holder. So this is a passport field notes holder that we've done in a reverse ultraviolet. And we did this one because on the passport holder, this is actually our largest pattern piece, and it gives us the most context to show off random die marks and the Horbian ink stamp. So we've got that cut on the exterior of this one, and you can see on the interior, there's ultraviolet down the center, and it's a really beautiful color, the ultraviolet. We also now have the violet shell Cordovan, which is a little bit less pink and more of a true purple shade, but I think this ultraviolet is a really interesting complement to the tumbled cigar on the inside left and right of this guy. And let's continue on with some more special private stock wallets. This is the Pearl de Ville on a Tony the Ant, but we've embroidered sort of. It's not a true embroidering here. We just decided to do a little bit of extra stitching to make this one look like the Chicago flag. So the Chicago flag has these 2 blue stripes and 4 red stars, and I thought this was a really interesting and creative idea that Amir has come up with for this Tony the Ant. And again, Pearl de Ville, sort of teal stitching, red stitching for the stars. And then on the inside, we actually have some raw denim shell Cordovan underneath, some more Pearl de Ville, and then the baby Ashland stamp on the right. Here's a private stock item that we're actually going to be putting up as an irregular. There's some little bit of inconsistencies in this piece of Amaretto shell Cordovan on the exterior of this vertical card slot Bugs Moran, but it's a really beautiful shade, this Amaretto. This is my favorite shell Cordovan color. A little bit of an orangey tan, just has a really nice vibrance to it. And it changes dramatically in color depending on what angle you look at it. But check out the inside. I've always loved how Amaretto shell Cordovan has paired with the blue, especially the raw denim. So on the inside here, raw denim card slots. And these are the vertical card slots on the Bugs Moran. Again, this one's an irregular, so it'll be up for a slight discount. And speaking of raw denim, wait till you see this guy. This is a remarkable tall Herbie. So this is just like our normal fat Herbie, except the bill slot on the outside here extends all the way to the top. And we get this huge context of leather to show off the raw denim color. And if you're not familiar with the raw shell Cordovan, it's the same as the normal shell Cordovan, but has not been glazed and polished. And the color here is the denim blue that's just not polished. So the raw shell Cordovan has a little bit more of like a matte finish to it as opposed to the bright, shiny, normal Cordovan luster, which we've all come to know and love. But there's something magical about this matte finish. It's just a little bit more sleek and sort of futuristic looking to me. I'm not sure what it is, but on all the raw shells, when you wear these, it does develop an incredible patina, and it will brighten and get a little shinier just with normal use. On the edges of this guy, we've hand stained all the edges blue to match that raw denim color, and on the inside, check this out, we've got hidden card slots underneath 2 pieces of raw denim shell Cordovan, and these are reverse blue card slots underneath, which gives us a chance to see these die marks. We also have a little bit of crease edges around each of the card holders, and of course the baby Ashland stamp. This is a really special tall Herbie. And here's another vertical card slot item. This is the Bugs Moran English Tan Dublin. I love the English Tan Dublin. This is our best-selling leather. Really exceptional grain character, just a natural look, and a really nice orangey tan color. I just love English Tan Dublin, and it wears in great. On the inside, again, we have those vertical card slots. There's a hidden card slot underneath each side, so we have 6 card slots total for this guy. It's just a really compact wallet that will lay flat, and you can hold a lot of stuff in here. I have another private stock vertical card slot Bugs Moran here, but this is the color number 8 Scotch grain leather. Really interesting texture here. And there's something amazing about the color 8 here with the Scotch grain. We've done a few color 8 Scotch grain wallets recently that have really stuck out to me. There's something magical about this one. Let me give you a look at the inside with more vertical card slots. And let's continue on with some more private stock items. We've got some 20mm NATO straps. We got one here in Whiskey Shell Cordovan, and Whiskey Shell Cordovan is kind of like the natural shell, but it's a little bit more golden and yellow when you compare it to the natural. And these NATO straps we only have available in 20mm. We can make these in most colors, but they're challenging to make, so we haven't really released these. These are sort of an unreleased watch strap version. And here's another NATO strap. This one is in a black shell Cordovan with a gator texture, which is also 20mm, and I think that one turned out really well too. And I do have one more Capone money clip in the private stock for today. This one is in the more recent color edition from Horween. This is the green shell Cordovan. So when you compare this to the dark green shell Cordovan of the past, this is a much lighter shade of green, and it's more of a true green, and I like this a lot more. Sometimes those darker greens or even the intense blues can sort of look black in certain lightings, and that's why I like these new versions of the colors. They're just a little bit more vibrant and a little bit more true to the color. I think the colors were originally made a little bit darker because they were intended to be used in footwear, and when that leather gets wrapped around and stretched and formed around to last, the color will lighten up significantly, and I don't think anybody really wants like a bright green pair of shoes, so they made it a little bit more subtle. I like these brighter colors for small leather goods, like this green shell Cordovan Capone money clip. And I have one more machine gun jack here. These are things that we used to make a lot of that we haven't been releasing on the website in the last maybe 5 or 6 years. But this one here is in reverse color 8 shell Cordovan. You can see the color 8 shell on the inside, and then we flipped it backwards to show off the Horween ink stamp on the back side of this guy. You can fit a good amount of credit cards in this one. In the slot here, and then it snaps closed, which is really nice. The only issue that I have with this particular wallet, if you like to carry cash in something like this, a little bit more minimalist style, you'll have to fold it into thirds to properly hold it in this guy. So I kind of, for me, only like to carry a few cards in here, about 8 to 12 cards. So those were all the brand new private stock items that will be available on the website today around 4 o'clock Central Time. And if you want to be the first to know exactly when they go up, I'll be putting up a newsletter the moment that everything is live. I have been sneaking up some other private stock things, and this is one here. This is an English Tan Dublin checkbook cover. So I snuck this up along with 3 or 4 other things yesterday evening. We made these checkbooks as custom orders a few times. These are not something you can find on the website, but a lot of people still use checkbooks, which honestly kind of surprises me because I haven't written a check. I can't remember the last time I've written an actual paper check. If you're looking to get a little checkbook cover, we can have these made to order, and in English Tan Dublin, we can have it made in about 4 weeks. And let's take a look at some other items that we're shipping out today. We have another Capone money clip here. This is English Tan Dublin, a really beautiful shade. The Capone money clip has been turning into one of our best-selling items. I think it's our 3rd most popular popular right now behind the Johnny the Fox and the Fat Herbie, but the English Tan Dublin, #1 best-selling color. It's just a beautiful shade that I'm really happy a lot of people are appreciating. Here's a Bugs Moran in color 8 Shell Cordovan. This is the classic Shell Cordovan color. It does range from a dark brown shade to a little bit more of a reddish burgundy tone, depending on what angle you look at it. And it's just a classic for a reason. Totally beautiful. You got more color 8 shell on the interior. Here's another English Tan Dublin piece. This is Tony the Ant in English Tan Dublin. Check out the natural character and figuring on the exterior of this one. Really remarkable texture, great color depth. You can see when I flex the leather down the spine here, the color gets a little bit lighter. Let's give a look at the inside. More English Tan Dublin here. Here's another private stock item that actually is gone now, but I was so happy about this one that I was excited to put it up yesterday, a little bit sneakily, and didn't announce it to anybody. But this is a Fat Herbie in black Dublin. Check out the grain character in this Dublin. You're not going to see most black leathers, or perhaps any black leather, with this amount of natural character. And that's what I love about the Dublin leather, and that's what I love about the black Dublin in particular and in specific. But on the edges of this guy, we've made a little bit of a contrasting cream thread for this private stock Fat Herbie. Check out the inside though. We've got more black Dublin with 2 black Dublin hidden card slots, and then we've got more cream stitching around the edge. This one was sold to a special customer yesterday. Thank you so much for picking this up. I'm excited for you to have it. And we've been moving a lot of belts recently. Just had a couple more English Tan Dublin belts made. If you're looking to pick up a belt, just send us an email if you don't see it as in stock on the site. Sometimes we're not able to make all of the sizes as in stock items. So if you're looking for something in particular, a particular size or particular leather, just let us know and we can have it made to you. And it looks like this one is a 36 English Tan Dublin. And I do have a couple more English Tan Dublin pieces to show you. Here's an Apple watch band, again in that English Tan Dublin. This is the same color watch band that I'm wearing right now, but this one is going out today to a special customer. I find this strap to be super comfortable. I wear it all day. I wear it through my workouts. I don't have any issues with it. Every now and then you might have to wash it a little bit, which is totally fine. But just note, if you ever wash your leather, make sure you condition it with a product like our Tanner's Blend or any leather conditioner, just to re-nourish the fibers of the skin so it doesn't dry out and crack, similar to lotion on your hands, which I could probably use some lotion right now. Here's another Apple Watch band. I wanted to compare this one. This is Natural Shell Cordovan. It's kind of similar to the English Tan Dublin, but less orange, right? It's a little bit more yellow and tan when compared to the English Tan, but the Natural Shell is really great. I love our straps because they're all unlined. So this reverse side of the shell here is going to touch your wrist, and it patinas really well. It gets super smooth and comfortable. And the last item of the day, this is our keychain belt clip that we've been calling the Key Buddy. This one's also in English Tan Dublin. I've been wearing one of these actually in color 8 Shell Cordovan. I really like this design because I like to keep my keys sort of clipped to my belt, and I find this to be really good to use. I sort of selfishly wanted this one to exist, so we kind of made it for me, but it seems like a lot of people have been enjoying this one also. You can use the Key Buddy in a couple different ways. This is the way I like to use it. I'll clip this to my belt loop, and then I'll clip all my keys around this split key ring here, and these are also made out of solid nickel with an antique brass finish. It's really nice. You can also use it in another way where you can clip this whole thing around your belt and then snap it closed, and you can put your keys off on this little hook on the other side. So thanks for checking out all the items in the video today, including all those brand new private stock wallets. I'm so excited about those. In fact, we sold out the first run of private stock so quickly last week. I actually filled up the website the most I could put on a page at a time, and all those sold out. So we're really excited to get more items up for you to look at, check out. If you're interested in one of them, definitely grab it kind of quickly. The private stock stuff seems to be going pretty fast, and thank you guys so much for supporting us. I really appreciate it, and it means so much to us. So hopefully you have a good one, and take care.